Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we have got a super exciting episode lined up for you guys, and we are going to be looking at an in-depth showdown between four fascinating types of farming, that is chicken, pigeon, turkey and rabbit farming. So guys, whether you are a seasoned farmer or you're just curious about alternative livestock ventures, guys, we would love you to stick around because we will be breaking it down all for you, complete with real-world examples and plenty of lively insights about these four amazing ventures. So guys, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's dive right into it. So now guys, imagine running a farm where you choose the animals that best fits your lifestyle. So we are looking at budget, we are looking at passion. So in today's video, we are going to be exploring four amazing options that you can look at, guys. We will cover everything from history and the day-to-day management of these options with details that can make or break your farm. So guys, we are talking housing, feeding, breeding, market examples, and even those unexpected challenges that you might face on the farm. So guys, let's get started. Alright guys, let's kick things off with the industry giant, and here we are looking at the chicken farming. Chickens have been with us for over 8,000 years. They started as a small backyard coops and evolved into massive operations that feed the world. So guys, let's see what makes chicken farming tick. So guys, chickens are everywhere, from your local supermarket to those delicious free-range eggs you pick at your organic store. Think about the big business giants all over the world that deal in chicken product, for example like the Tyson Foods, which turned a chicken backyard business into a global industry. So guys, let's now dive into the housing and management of these chickens. So here we have got two main systems here. We have the free range and the intensive cage system. So here free range will let your birds roam, which is awesome for their welfare. And if you're selling those organic eggs, it will be a big plus. But then on the flip side, you have the intensive cage system, which will also allow for high productivity rate on your farm. So depending on which side you go, each system will have its advantages and drawbacks. So it will be up to you to be able to choose the one that will be able to fit on your farm perfectly. Then guys, speaking about biosecurity, now when it comes to chicken farming, you will have to take the cleanliness of the farm very seriously. So you will have to apply some foot baths for the visitors that come to visit your farm. Then in some cases, you will have to restrict visitors onto your farm to be able to prevent certain diseases. Then you'll also have to implement vaccination programs to keep diseases like the Newcastle disease, the avian influenza at bay on your farm. When you look at the economics of chicken farming, starting up will be a bit pricey. This will be when you look at things like housing, buying of feeders, and also buying waterers on the farm that will help to feed these chickens on the farm. But the steady demand for chicken meat and egg will usually make up for this. So even if the startup might be pricey, but the products from chickens, that is meat and the eggs, have a steady market and a ready market, which in most cases will make up for the pricey start on the farm. The challenges and opportunities that you'll experience as a chicken farmer will be some disease outbreaks. Of course, challenges will exist on the farm, and these can really cause a headache if you're just starting up as a new farmer. But with good biosecurity on your farm, this should not be much of a problem. Then for the opportunities that may arise on the farm is that you should be able to tap into niche markets like selling organic eggs, and you may need to do a bit of processing of your products on the farm to be able to make them fetch a good price within the market. Then also one of the other things that you will look at will be your housing and the space for the chickens on the farm. Chicken farming will tend to require a bit of a large space on the farm as compared to other types of farming. So you will need to have some bit of good space on the farm. Then also you will have to build some good cages if you go into the cage system, and your cages should be spacious enough with good ventilation so that your birds will have enough space to be able to walk around. If you choose the free range system, you will have no problem with this, as your birds will have to roam around a free and organized space within your farm. Our experience here on the farm with chicken farming, we have been able to do sales for our products here on the farm. We are able to sell eggs to the local community, to the supermarkets near us, and we have been able to sell chicken meat to our local community and to some restaurants that are around us. Then we are able to also sell breeding stocks to other farmers that want to start up chicken farming. So chicken farming has been one of our major revenue sources here on the farm, and it contributes around 40% of our total revenue here on the farm. So if you're looking to go into chicken farming, all you need to know is that the start will be a bit pricey, so you will need some good cash on you to be able to start. Then of course you will need the space to be able to house the birds, and we would encourage you to be able to start small. Don't start on a large scale, because this will make it very hard for you to be able to manage these birds when you're just starting. So it is always better to be able to start small, then upscale as time goes on, as you will have also learned and got some knowledge about how you can be able to raise these birds and take care of them. So guys, all I can tell you is that chicken farming is a proven winner. But then if you're looking for something different, let me say you would want to spread your wings and fly into other realms of farming, so let's take you to another section of this video, which is pigeon farming. So guys, I know you might be thinking, pigeons? Really? But trust me, these birds pack a punch in a niche market, in most cases for racing and then for meat production. Pigeons have been used for centuries as messengers and racers. Then of late, of course, pigeon meat has also attained a lot of attention all over the world and in our communities. So when you look at places like Belgium, you look at France, pigeon racing is almost a national sport. Then of course, when it comes to the food squab, because pigeon meat is a delicacy in upscale restaurant that fetches a good price. So when you look at the housing and management of pigeons, the key to successful pigeon farming will be a well-designed pigeon loft, or in simple terms you can call this a pigeon cage. So now the cages need to be secure, they need to be well ventilated, and they also should be easy to clean, so that it keeps the place where the pigeons are staying very clean and healthy. The pigeon diet will generally be a mix of grains, so you'll be looking at a maize or corn grain. You can look at millet and any other grain that you can be able to feed to birds. You can add a bit of grit to your pigeon diet to be able to improve their digestion. So when you look at the economics when it comes to pigeon farming, here we are talking dollars. Racing pigeons can fetch a good price within the market if they are top performers, and of course, as we have said, pigeon meat also fetches a good price within the market. So also, as we have looked at in the chicken section, we would also encourage you to start small here when it comes to pigeon farming, then be able to gradually expand. Here on the farm, what we have been able to do to scale up is we have been able to reinvest some profits that we get from pigeons here to be able to expand this section. then you're going to face some few challenges, and you will also have a bit of opportunities to be able to exploit within this section. Surely managing diseases and protecting the birds from predators is going to be a challenge, but this will be taken care of by the structures that you put on your farm. Make sure that your structures are strong enough to be able to bar predators to come and prey on your birds on the farm. Then of course you should make sure that the loft or the cages where the pigeons stay are regularly cleaned to be able to control or prevent the spread of diseases on the farm. So guys, what I can tell you is that pigeon farming isn't for everyone. So guys, you will go into pigeon farming if at all you're a person that loves niche market with a mix of traditional and modern techniques. So if you are this kind of person, it is definitely worth considering pigeon farming, and it is going to be a rewarding experience if at all you undertake this. So now guys, let's hop over to another section in this video, which is going to be turkey farming. Now turkey farming is another exciting venture, especially if you're ready for seasonal spikes of activity. Turkey farming generally have these spikes where their demand is going to be very high. You will think of things like the Thanksgiving period. You can also look at Christmas and then also beyond. Turkey demand soars during these times, but of course there is a lot of other seasons where the turkey demand will be also extremely high. Now when you look at the overall history of turkeys will be considered to have long been a holiday staple. So they are raised all year round for meat and eventually eggs and exhibition purposes, but their demand tends to spike during certain holidays. For example, in the US, the turkey sales will generally spike during the Thanksgiving, so many of the farms will supply turkeys to these markets, and you can be one of the farmers that will exploit the US market to be able to supply your turkeys during these times of high demand. When you come to the housing and management of turkeys, the turkeys will need a lot of space. So if you do not have a lot of space on your farm, you would think twice when it comes to rearing turkeys on your farm. The outdoor pens are ideal. These will be during the warmer months. Of course, while the indoor or climate controlled, housing will be the best during the winter season. But the only drawback here is that turkeys will need a lot of space. So you will need to have a lot of space on your farm to be able to rear these turkeys on your farm. The nutrition when it comes to turkeys, you will need to give your turkeys grains or feeds that are high in protein. This will increase their growth on the farm. And just like chickens, you will need to manage the diseases on the farm. You will need to employ a vaccination program to keep diseases at bay on your farm. Now, because turkey demand is so seasonal, so farmers will often diversify their offerings. So you will find that farmers will try to offer pre-cooked meals for the community to be able to come and buy. They will be able to start up restaurants to be able to keep the revenue flowing all through the year if you are into turkey farming. So just like any other farming venture, here we would also encourage you to start small, then be able to scale up as the farm grows. The challenges that you're going to face on the farm is that turkeys demand tends to be seasonal in nature, which means that you'll have to be able to plan very well to be able to keep that revenue coming all through the year. Then of course, turkeys will need a lot of space on the farm, so you will need to have a big space on your farm. Then of course, turkeys consume more feed, so you will need to get more feed on the farm. And when you combine all these things, this can push the cost a bit up. So you will need to be ready for this. The major opportunity that will arise when it comes to turkey farming is that you can be able to capitalize on these seasonal spikes or peaks of these holidays and be able to make a substantial revenue during this period that will complement your other revenues that you will get all through the year. So the opportunity here is that those spikes of demands will come, let me say on Thanksgiving, that you can be able to capitalize on as a farmer. So a quick tip here is that you should always plan ahead for these off-peak seasons. Let me say Thanksgiving should find you when you're ready. You already have stock that you can be able to sell. Then also diversifying your product line. This can smooth out the revenue bumps all throughout the year. So guys, what I can tell you is that turkey farming is a dynamic field that rewards careful planning and a flexible business model. But if what we have so far covered within the video is not doing it for you, so guys, let's go into our final segment of this video, and this is going to be rabbit farming. Now rabbit farming may be the smallest in size within this video, but it packs a big punch, perfect for urban setups, small scale operation. Rabbits are known for their fast reproduction and of course their low space requirement. So you will be able to rear rabbits on your farm even if you have a small space, even if you're living within an urban setting. You can be able to house and rear rabbits on your farm. This is what makes it an amazing option when it comes to farming options. It cuts across for everyone. The people that have a lot of space who are within a rural setting can be able to rear rabbits, but also those folks within the urban setting that may have little space can also be able to utilize that little space. Now, rabbits have been companions of humans and source of food for centuries. With their rapid breeding or reproduction, they are a fantastic choice for those starting small, then dreaming to go big. In most communities, rabbit stew is a beloved traditional dish. For example, when you look at North America, health conscious consumers will appreciate rabbit meat for its lean and high protein benefit. Now, when you're looking at the housing and management of rabbits, you can raise rabbits in different kinds of housing setups. You can use hatches, you can use cages like we do here on the farm. You can also use the colony system. The key to this is going to be good ventilation, proper beddings for these rabbits within these housing structures, and maintaining an ideal temperature. One thing that you don't want to forget is the diet of rabbits. It is going to be a mix of hay, fresh greens, some commercial pellets to keep your rabbits happy and healthy. Here on the farm, we generally feed our rabbits on hay. We supplement this with fresh greens and some commercial pellet. So this is going to be the feeding diet for your rabbits on the farm, and this is going to be productive if you implement this on the farm. When you look at the economics of rabbit farming, rabbits require minimal space and feed, so this is going to be on a lower budget. So this makes them ideal for urban farmers or for anyone who is working on a smaller budget. If your budget is small, within this video your option is going to be rabbit farming, because when you look at chicken, you're going to be looking at a significant startup cost. Then it will be the same for the turkey farming. Pigeon farming will be a bit lower. So in this video you will be looking at those two, maybe a bit of pigeon farming or rabbit farming. Then also, of course, here you're going to be looking at multiple income streams when it comes to rabbit farming. You'll be looking at selling rabbit meat from these rabbits. You'll also be looking at selling fur from these rabbits. And also you'll be selling, of course, the breeding stocks to other farmers, then also to the community as pets. So you're going to be looking at a variety of income streams that you can be able to get from rabbits. But this one will require you to be able to rear different kinds of breeds that will be able to support this. If you are into meat production, you'll be able to look at breeds like the New Zealand White, the Checkered Giant, California Rabbit, a bit of Palomino. These are massive rabbits that will give you a lot of meat. If you are into fur production, you will look at the Angora and the Rex. These have beautiful fur that will fetch a good price within the market. Then of course, for pets, you'll be looking at rabbits that are predominantly dormant and they are not hostile. So you will be able to have this at the back of your mind if you want to go into that area. So for us here, we directly sell our rabbits to farmers for breeding stocks. We sell to the market for rabbit meat. We supply to local restaurants here, and that's how we have been able to make revenue from rabbits. Rabbits actually here on the farm will form around 25 to 30% of our revenue. Our biggest revenue earner here on the farm are our chickens, followed by the rabbits, then followed by the pigeons, and then the turkeys will come at the back end of this. The challenges you're going to face in managing of rabbits on the farm is going to be avoiding crowding and stress on the farm, because rabbits reproduce very fast. You will need to control overcrowding of rabbits within your cages, so you'll be able to expand and also be able to manage the breeding of these rabbits if you do not have a lot of space on the farm. Then of course, the opportunity that will come with rabbit farming is the ready market. Rabbit meat has market from restaurants to supermarkets. Local families within your communities will be able to take up the rabbit meat. Then of course you will sell some breeding stocks to the farmers that may be near you, and also you will sell to some families or the community that may want these rabbits as pets in their homes. A quick one here when it comes to rabbit farming that has been able to help us is keeping detailed records in regard to the breeding cycles of these rabbits. So you should be able to keep the record for the breeding cycles for these rabbits to know when to be able to breed them. So guys, what I can tell you is that rabbit can offer an excellent return on a small scale, but you should pay close attention to how you breed them, how you take care of them on the farm. So rabbit farming is perfect for those who want big potential from a small space. If you just have a small space but you want to get the best out of that space, even if you are in an urban setting, you can be able to take on rabbit farming. This will be a good option for you to be able to engage in and target that niche market. So now let me take you through the comparative analysis and the economic consideration for all these sections that we have gone through. Now when it comes to the initial investment and the infrastructure, let's look at, for the case of chicken farming, some of the advantages with chicken farming is that there is a well-established market all over the world for the products from chicken farming, that is the eggs and the meat. So in that regard, you will not face much of a challenge in regard to selling the products that you produce. But on the drawback side is that here you will need high setup cost. This will be for housing, the feeding, the biosecurity on the farm. So if you want to engage into chicken farming, this should be at your back of your mind. Now let's look at the pigeon farming. Here you're going to need low initial investment, like we had already said. Of course, the market is there and it is lucrative within those niche markets. When you look at like the racing breeds of pigeons, you can be able to fetch a good price from those. The only drawback here is that you will need specialized lofts or cages to be able to house these pigeons. Then also in some parts of the world, you may face a challenge with the market of these pigeons. So also you should have that in mind when you're comparing between the pigeons and the chicken, like we have looked at it. Then also when you go to turkey farming, of course the advantage here will be that there are those seasonal spikes where you'll be able to make a significant return or revenue from the turkeys. But also remember that turkeys will require a large space, so you should be having a lot of space on your farm. But also their demand sometimes is seasonal, so this will cause an even revenue throughout the year, in that you'll have those periods where the revenue is high, but there will be those seasons where the revenue is extremely low. Then of course when you come to the rabbit farming, advantage is that you will need minimal space. Then of course rabbits reproduce at a high rate, so you will be able to get quick return from your investment. And of course if you're on a low budget, then rabbit farming will be the option for you. Then also you can look at the pigeon farming, because it also looks at someone that has a low budget. Of course you will have to take a keen look at how you take care of these rabbits on the farm. Of course overcrowding is going to be one of the challenges that you'll face on the farm, because rabbits tend to reproduce fast. Then of course disease management on the farm is also going to be another challenge that you will look at. Now let us look at the market demand and the profitability margins of these farming options. Now guys, each of these ventures has its own market dynamics, from the consistent global demand for chickens to the niche high value market for racing pigeons. And of course also turkeys will offer seasonal surge, and then rabbits are tapping into the trend of lean meat and also alternative protein sources. When you're looking at the management complexity and risk, large operations like chicken and turkey farming will demand rigorous biosecurity and veterinary care, while pigeons and rabbit farming will require individual breeding management on the farm. So when it comes to risk, chicken and turkey farming will have a higher risk, because these ones will require a large investment upfront as compared to pigeon and rabbit farming. So if you're someone that has the funds, then you should be looking at chicken or turkey farming. If you're on a budget, then you should be looking at the pigeon and the rabbit farming. But with risk, pigeon and rabbit farming will come with a lower risk as compared to chickens and turkeys. When you look at the environmental and sustainability consideration, each system of course has environmental impact, but of course large poultry farms, they will need comprehensive waste management. But of course when you look at rabbit and pigeon, this will often run in more sustainable or eco-friendly ways. So if you're looking into conserving the environment or considering the sustainability when it comes to these farming options, then of course pigeons and rabbits will leave a smaller footprint when it comes to the environment as compared to the chickens and the turkeys. So guys, we have come at the end of our video. So now let's get the final verdict for these farming options. So guys, which farming business is the best? Now I'm not going to tell you in this video which farming option is the best, but this is going to entirely depend on the goal of why you're starting this farming option. So I'm just going to give you the highlights of these options, then it will be up to you to be able to select the one that is good for you. So now in summary, chicken farming is best for consistent income from meat and eggs. So when you go into chicken farming, you are sure of consistent income from their meat and the eggs, because the market for chicken and their eggs is readily available everywhere all over the world. When you come to pigeon farming, you're going to be looking at the lower cost, which will make them highly profitable, and of course they are great for small spaces. So if you are someone with small space on your farm, then pigeon farming is going to be one of the best options. When you look at turkey farming, you're going to be looking at their demand is seasonal, which will also bring in high revenue within those seasons, and this will make them extremely profitable. But then they are going to need a high cost of startup, and also they are going to need a lot of space. Then when you look at rabbit farming, they are highly reproductive, so they reproduce at a high rate. You can be able to accumulate numbers within a shortest period of time. They require a low budget when you're starting, and of course low space on the farm. So guys, which farming business do you want to start? You can put your comment here below indicating which of these options you would be able to take up. So guys, do not forget to like and share and subscribe for more farming tips here on our channel. This has been our video for today. Thanks for being with us all through the video, and as always from me, I'll see you in the next video.